Hi guys, and welcome back to another video game into Powers. I'm Jake, and in today's video I'll be giving you my review of the board game Bark Avenue, coming to you from TerreDice Games. Now, Bark Avenue is also designed by Mackenzie and Jonathan Jungck. I think that's how you pronounce your name. I do apologize if I mispronounce your name wrong. This is a game for 1 to 5 players, ages 10 plus, right around 15 minutes per player. Now, it has been a while since we've done a review, so if you guys are not familiar with our review process, we go ahead and break the game down into 7 different categories. These categories are theme, components, setup, length, difficulty, replayability, and price. Each of these different categories is going to get a number rating very similar to the rating scale on BGG. And at the conclusion of these 7 different categories, I'll kind of be wrapping it up with my overall rating. And if I had the opportunity to back this game, would I do so? In this review, guys, I'm not going to be giving an overview or how to play of the game. I do have a playthrough and teach of Bark Avenue. I'll go ahead and link that somewhere up top over here if you guys want to know how the game is played. But I'll kind of give a brief synopsis of the game when I go ahead and talk about the theme. Each of these categories is timestamped down below, so if you guys want to skip to a specific category, you can do so by checking the timestamps. All right, guys, let's go ahead and dive into our review, starting off with the theme. So surprisingly here, I'm gonna go ahead and give this theme a 10 out of 10. I think Bark Avenue does a perfect job of making you feel immersed, not only thematically, but mechanically as well, with what the game is trying to do. You are essentially taking on the role of a dog walker in New York City, and you're going around to all these different locations, picking up these dogs, taking them to do their favorite activities, getting them to use the restroom, and then basically dropping them back off to get cash. And the more things you do for this dog, the more you are going to get rewarded. And so you are essentially throughout the course of the game trying to make the most cash in basically a single day of dog walking. But what I want to do is go ahead and jump down to the table and show you how the mechanics of the game tie into this theme and why I gave this a 10 out of 10. All right, guys, down here at the table, you are looking at the game board for Bark Avenue, and this is one of the main reasons why I gave this game a 10 out of 10 here is the board itself is a mirror copy of New York City. Obviously, we have Central Park in the middle dividing the east side and the west side of New York City up. You have all these iconic locations like the Met, right, that you are going to be going around and picking up these dogs, dropping these dogs off, taking them to different locations to get pictures and stuff like that. And it's just a really great representation of the board to make you feel like you really are moving around New York City. One of the other main reasons why what this game does really well is taking a look at the actual dog here. You'll see that there's 3 sizes of dogs. You have small, medium, and large. And depending on the type of dog it is, I think they do a really great job of telling you that certain dogs don't work well with big dogs. Sometimes they don't work well with medium dogs either. And it just kind of goes up and down based on the breed. And they've done a lot of real research here, I think, with this. And then you have group dogs and solo dogs as well. So they've done a very accurate representation with the breed of the dogs. And do they like being with dogs their size, not their size, how kind of do they interact with what's going on. And so like I said, your goal is you're going around the specific board here and you're going to these different locations, picking up these dogs, taking them to certain spots to do favorite activities and things like that. And you know that you have this board here, which these are your tokens. So, you know, if they use the restroom, they poop, you can take pictures with them, do their favorite activities, and all of these different things are going to score you more points. And then you kind of have like this star system, like a review, right? You get reviews, and if you complete any of these objectives, then what you do is remove these stars here and place them on here like you got a review for doing a perfect walk, right? And then you can unlock more abilities and things as you move along, which helps you unlock a 3rd dog slot. I also like that you can only have 3 dogs walked at one time. I think that's very realistic for the hustle and bustle of New York City. You're only allowed to have 3 dogs with all the chaos that's going on. I love this little dice that you're gonna roll at the beginning of the game here. And so, you know, there's pigeons or squirrels, if I can find the squirrel. Maybe the squirrel is on the park dice, which is funny. Yep, the squirrel is on the central park dice. So, you know, you roll this dice, you land on the squirrel spot, your dog sees a squirrel, he's gonna move you in that direction. And the other one is a pigeon. So I really like the thematic presence there. And then all of these particular event cards that are gonna happen. So some of these are gonna hinder and hurt you for your walk on that particular day. So they've just done a dang near perfect job here with the thematic feel of the game and the mechanics tying in to the thematic presence. So like I said, 10 out of 10 for me in regards to the theme here. Okay, I'm gonna stay down here at the table for a sec and let's go ahead and go over the components of the game. I'm gonna go ahead and give these an 8 out of 10. I think these components are great. Obviously the board being a dang near accurate representation of New York City. I love the dog cards themselves. There is not a single dog that repeats itself. I think the icons on the card are very easy to understand. This is how much cash you're gonna get. This is where you pick the dog up. This is the movement of the dog. This is how many spaces the dog requires to get walked, favorite activity, things like that. So I think they've done a great job. There is a bevy of dogs. That's just a small portion of the game itself. I do love the player boards. So dual layer player boards here. Now some of these components and tokens right here that you see are the deluxe upgrade, like the stars and these, but the squishy poop emojis are pretty funny as well. And again, this is the Kickstarter version of the game, so I do believe dual layer player boards come in the Kickstarter with the squishy poops, and these tokens are an additional add-on as well. But I think these dual layer player boards are phenomenal. They house everything so nothing's sliding off, especially this track, because when you start walking a dog, you will move up and down this track here. And if it was not dual layered, they would just be sliding all over the place. So I really do enjoy that as well. Some of the other tokens you have in the game, right? We have bones, we have coffee cups, you have these bonus objective cards here that are just really good as well. And then we have the storage in the insert, which is great as well. You'll put the player boards here on top, all the cards in these. I have the player tokens separated out in their own individual baggies, and you drop everything in there. Nice, clean, concise insert. Everything fits in there like it normally should. But like I said, great components here. I'm really impressed with the quality, the artwork, and everything that they came out with Bark Avenue. So 8 out of 10 for me with the components. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on to the setup. So I'm gonna go ahead and give the setup an 8 out of 10. I think there's some great setup here with the game. With not a lot of components, the game is very easy to get to the table. You're simply just getting out the main board. In a 2-player game, you are choosing what side of the board you wanna do, the east side or the west side here. And you're taking those dogs, mixing them up, putting the market out, getting your player board, all your components, and you guys are basically ready to go. Super simple, super easy. I think it's really great setup. So 8 out of 10 for me. Moving on to our length here. So it does say on the box about 15 minutes per player. That's probably more so around 25 minutes per player, guys. Most of our 2-player games are right around 45 to 50 minutes. But again, I think what the game does is it does a really good job of, as the game progresses towards the end, they have, you know, basically like a fire sale or surge pricing, I think is what it is, where your dogs, you can earn more money for walking these dogs. You have this advertising mechanic where, like, after you've walked all the dogs for the day, now you want to go and advertise for the next day. And so to me, while the game does draw out a little bit longer than advertised, I think they do a great job of still hooking you into the game by not dragging it out, if that makes sense. So they have some mechanics that really continue to pull you in and change your thought process, even though the game runs a little bit longer than intended. So I'm giving this a 7 out of 10. I think it is a solid, good length. Moving on to the difficulty here. As always, guys, remember, the lower the number, the easier we feel the game is. The higher the number, the more challenging we feel the game is. And I'm gonna go ahead and give this one a 5 out of 10 here. I think it's right in the middle, just for one or two specific things, and that's keeping track of the dogs and whether they can be with other dogs or they can only be solo dogs or group dogs. I think there is kind of like a maintenance aspect here with tracking tracking all of that information, and it can be somewhat challenging and difficult. The core of the game is very easy. I think they do a great job of on the player boards. They kind of have a player aid telling you what to do, like roll, do a move, do your actions, and then do all of your tracks, right? But like I said, the biggest hurdle that you're going to face or challenge with this game is just keeping track of, like, you'll see the dogs and then you'll look and see what their conditions are, and then I promise you, you're going to forget by the next turn. And so you're like, okay, I picked up this dog and then I want to pick up this dog, but wait, this dog can't go with big dogs and it's a solo dog, so I can't do that. Now, there are ways to get around that with dog treats. You can ignore one of these specific traits, but I think for me, that is the most challenging aspect of just keeping track of whether dogs are solo dogs or group dogs, and keeping track of, can my small, medium, and large dog work with other medium and small, or medium and large, or medium and big. So that's why I'm giving this difficulty a 5 out of 10 here. Okay, moving on to our replayability. I'm going to go ahead and give this an 8 out of 10. I think there's some great replayability with this game, especially at the 2-player level, because you are having to choose a specific side when playing with 2 players. So you're using one side of the board. So east side, west side. And so when you're playing, like I said, there is a bevy of dog cards. You can only walk 3 dogs at a time. It's going to take you a couple turns. I think the smallest number of turns is 3. Most of your dogs are 4 and then 5. So there are about 15 total turns in the game. So you're not going to be walking a lot of dogs. So you're not going to mow through this deck really, really quickly. And especially divvying up the east side and the west side, every time you play, you're going to see a lot of different dogs. You're going to walk different dogs, and the strategies are going to be a lot different. So there is some great replayability here with this specific game at the 2-player level. All right, guys, moving on to the price here. So the cheapest I've been able to find this game is about $35.99 online on Boardlandia. Now, if you didn't know, we do have an ambassadorship with Boardlandia where you can get 5% off the game as well using our discount code, which I will drop in the description below. But at $35.99 or with the 5%, I think it comes out to about $32, $33. I think that's a solid price. I'm going to go ahead and give that a 7 out of 10. I think with all the content that you're getting, the value. Now, of course, you're not going to get the dual layer boards. You're not going to get any of these squishy tokens because that is the Kickstarter version of the game. So you're going to get flat boards and you're going to get those normal tokens. But still, I think with the overall production of the game, the thematicness of the game, and the replayability of the game here, for that price range, typically what you would find other games at, you're going to get great value and you're going to get a fun, cozy game for that one. So I think it's a solid price, 7 out of 10 for me. All right, guys, moving on to my overall rating. I'm going to go ahead and give Bark Avenue an 8 out of 10. I think Bark Avenue is a great game. I think they do a lot of things well. They do a great job of making you feel immersed in the theme of the game, which is walking around New York City and being a dog walker trying to, earn as much money as you can. I think with all the different locations that you visit, you can visit coffee shops to buy coffee. They just do a really great job making you feel immersed into what you are playing. I also think there's a lot of great replayability here with all the different dogs and the different conditions of the dogs, being able to score as much points with all the different events and scoring objectives. They do a great job of making you want to get this game back to the table. For me, the big comparison with this game is Dog Park, right? Because essentially it's almost the exact same thing. In Dog Park, you're kind of drafting dogs and you're walking them through that park. Here, you're walking them around New York City. And I think this is a much better version. I think it's a cleaner, smoother version of Dog Park. I don't think it takes as long as Dog Park. So if you own Dog Park and you enjoy that, I think you are really, really going to enjoy Bark Avenue, because to me, it's basically a streamlined version of that. But those are pretty much all the reasons why I enjoy Dog Park. Like I said, at the end of the day, 8 out of 10 for me. I think this is a great quality game. This is a cozy game. This is a family-friendly game that you guys are going to enjoy. Enjoy the hustle and bustle walking around New York City with a bunch of different dogs. All right, last thing, guys, if I had the opportunity to back this game again, would I? Yes, I wouldn't. I would back this game again. Like I said, of course, Sierra loves dogs, so anything that is dog themed, it is almost like a must back for me. But I do actually enjoy this one, right? I like Dog Park a little bit, but I just think it's a lot to get to the table. The setup is too much. This one, like I said, is streamlined, super quick, easy to get to the table, and very enjoyable game. All right, guys. Well, look, you heard it here first. That is my review of Bark Avenue. If you enjoyed this content, smash that like button, hit that notification bell. Drop down in the comments below. Have you guys played Bark Avenue? What are your thoughts and opinions on it? And as always, guys, if you are not subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe so we can keep bringing you some more awesome content. All right, guys. Y'all have a great one. Bye.